Kundalini Chakras Mantras Part 2. Variety of topics will be presented, as well as the primary topic, which is Kundalini Yoga. I will talk about the chakras involved and the use of mantras. Some other topics come up because Kundalini is involved with the energy, the Shakti of the goddess power. And Kundalini Shakti practices can be also seen as part of Tantric practices. I do touch a little bit on the philosophy of Vedanta and the concept of Maya, or the illusory nature of the world. However, initially, Part 2, progression of topics so that the student may practice safe Kundalini awakening to further spiritual enlightenment. Safe meaning, some people say that if the Kundalini is awakened, it rises up and causes disturbances. Somebody could go mad or become an alcoholic addict or do something crazy. Good way to get around that is to follow some instructions, have a teacher. This is a tutorial. This may well be what is needed. So there are some Sanskrit words, as I've already said, quite a few of them, and I use them italics when I first use them. I talk a lot about Kundalini, Shakti, spiritual development, the goddess mantras involved, and you can see that at goddessmantra.guru. Also, I have written a number of books, but the book relevant to this one is Om Divine Grace on Amazon. So, Kundalini Yoga. This is part 2. Chanting helps focus the mind. Chanting of what? A mantra. And a mantra connected to the chakra is very often what is considered to be a tantric mantra. However, focusing the mind is a very partial perspective because mantras actually exist in another spiritual dimension. So repetition can lead you to samadhi, or a very high state of meditation and spiritual awareness. Let's have a look at the word guru as a mantra. Om, Guru, Om. Guru is a sound. Gu refers to darkness and Ru to light. So chanting Guru is your desire to go from darkness to light. Seeing the Guru is to get knowledge, to go from darkness to light, to get truth, enlightenment, whatever you go to a Guru for. Om, though, is the word and sound of the universe. It's the original seed mantra. I'll come to those later. You repeat and you become immersed in the divine center. You go past this life. So Om was traditionally a word, mantra used by monks who were prepared to transcend and move past the human physical life. However, Om encompasses all, external, internal and beyond, the beginning and end of all sound, encompassing both form and the cosmic space, the etheric cosmic space. That is not just the space in the universe, that's also the space within the spiritual dimension. To Om you can then add your deity mantra. In Hinduism we'll add maybe Krishna or Rama. In Buddhism there may be something else. You can add a prayer, you can add an incantation. Christians may or may not want to use mantras, but they may. That's choice. You choose. You use Om or any mantra if you want to. If it's legal and you live in a democratic country, then go ahead. Samadhi, deepest form of meditation. No, meditation on a personal deity, your higher power, your God, your Guru, your teacher, your impersonal consciousness, that leaning more into a Buddhist type perspective, or even you could do it from a non-spiritual, more scientific perspective, thinking about the cosmic consciousness or awareness, or you could use yogic practices. And they don't necessarily have to be too much tied up with religion. Can be separated out if you want. In samadhi, human consciousness still exists, even though you might be almost transcending it, or in a kind of a blackout, or like a sleep. But you come out of it and, oh, where was I? But you were alive. Is it the high state? No, it isn't. Is sleep the high state? No. Is going into a blackout a high state? Oh, of course not. Divine center then, after samadhi, may be realized. You may come out of the samadhi and find out that, oh, divine is now connecting with me into the human body area, the heart area particularly, not the heart chakra. So from a tantric perspective, samadhi is interim, because in a tantric perspective, you want to work with the body and human nature. There is a problem, of course, body and mental needs, desires. Don't they get in the way? Don't they stop us from being spiritual? So spiritual practice may seek to separate, disregard, discipline, transcend the human experience, which seems to lead to endless struggle, or it doesn't work. You can't do it. Things get very muddled, or very split, or very frustrating. So one thing is to accept the tantric way of seeing things as using the body, mind as a means to understanding one's own divinity, and as a means to promoting one's spiritual practice. With the mind, you can use a mantra. If you've got the time to sit down, or even if you haven't, you can do it as you're walking along. You use a mantra to incorporate body and mind into spiritual practice. And particularly here I'm talking about using mantras with the chakras to enable the Kundalini to be awakened and move up through the crown of the head, and to engage with the divine cosmos, and at the same time bring down that energy, divine energy, as I've talked about in part 1. So mantras are thousands of years old, and they're designed to specifically be connected to certain powers, and they can be used for specific chakra areas, particularly if you read about this in my book, Om Divine Grace, and further tutorials will be coming out to talk about this issue. So incorporation into the divinity that is both within and external, no separation. We want to merge the divine and the human. Tantra, it's tantric, merging of the divine, human, where human nature is not an obstacle, bad, dysfunctional, or even evil, because tantric practice recognizes all human emotion and nature, and seeks to move us to a high level of being without denying the human activity. We are humans, we do human things. We need a means of becoming spiritual whilst in the world, and Tantra is a way of doing this, and in practical terms Kundalini Yoga is a way of doing this, and in practical terms using mantras to purify and energize the chakras so that one can become more transcendental and even going to samadhi states.